Now we're going to be talking about angles. So an angle is actually formed by two rays with a common endpoint. So over here we can see an example of our angle and they have a common endpoint. The common endpoint is called the vertex. The rays are called the sides. So on each angle, you're going to have a vertex and a side. So the vertex is going to be like the pointy part, and then the sides are going to be the rays. So we name angles using three letters. The middle letter should always be the vertex. So if we look over here at this angle, let's name this angle. So I can name it, if I'm naming it with three letters, my vertex is B. So I want to name it with that as my middle letter. So I'm going to say angle A, B, C. And we put a little angle symbol like this, angle A, B, C. And again, these are capital letters because these represent points. I could also go the opposite direction, and again, B has to be my middle letter, but I could start at C and call it CBA. So angle CBA. Sometimes we can name an angle with a single letter, with one letter, as long as there's only one angle located at the vertex. So in this case, we don't have a whole bunch of angles coming out of B. We only have this one angle. So we could name it with just one letter. In this case, you use the vertex letter. So our vertex here is B, so we could call this angle B. And again, you always have to have this angle symbol. When referring to the measure of an angle, we use the lowercase letter m. And that just means measure. It's just like a symbol for measure. So here, the measure of our angle is 60 degrees. So I could say the measure of angle B equals 60 degrees. So when you start including numbers in there, then you drop this small little m in front. There are 4 different types of angles that we're going to look at, and these are probably ones that you've seen before. So the first one, if it's less than 90 degrees, then it is an acute angle. If it is greater than 90 degrees, then it is an obtuse angle. If it is a right angle equal to 90 degrees, you'll probably see a little box here in most cases. And that means it is a right angle. And then if it forms a straight line, then it is a straight angle. We can also have congruent angles just like we did with segments. If two angles have the same measure, then they are congruent. So if we look at our example over here, it looks like both of these angles have the same measure. They're both 75 degrees. Since they're both 75 degrees, that means that they're congruent. So the way that we mark angles as congruent, we put what are called arc marks. So I'm going to put one arc mark in each of these angles because they have the same amount. They're the same measure. So angle X is congruent to angle Y because they have the same measure. So which angles are congruent in triangle PQR? Well, it looks like angle Q has an arc mark, so it must be congruent to angle R, which also has one arc mark. So let's look at this example here. Let's name the vertex of this angle. So your vertex is just a single letter. Where did the rays meet? In this case, the two rays meet here at point K. And that's a capital letter K. If we want to name the sides of that angle, then we would start at K and go one of the two directions. So that would be ray KJ. And again, we want to draw our little arrow on top, always pointing to the right. And we always start with our end point. And we can also name the other side, which would be KL. So those are our two sides. You will always have two sides to an angle. All right, let's name three ways to name this angle. So I can name this angle with three letters. Remember, the vertex has to be the middle letter. So we can name it angle K or JKL. JKL, that vertex letter should be in the middle. I could also go the opposite direction and name it LKJ. Angle LKJ. Remember, the vertex must be the middle letter. You need your angle symbol, and we're using capital letters. If we want to name it with one letter, then we would want to name it using the vertex. My vertex, we already said, was K. That's this point here. So we could also call this angle K because there are no other angles here at this angle that share that vertex. Let's classify the angle. So this angle looks like it is greater than 90 degrees. So that means it must be obtuse. Now you try.